what's the problem here? Perspective, right? And they're both right, aren't they? And this is why we have conflict. Plain and simple. I usually talk about the fact that there are a lot of people with mental health issues and they're at work. They really are. And studies show 1 in 4 people are dealing with stuff, coaching. There's nothing that we can do at work. It is beyond our skills. There's nothing you can do. But they're in the workplace, 1 in 4 people. And if you just start counting around this room, some of y'all made it here. So you gave the organization a break and y'all come in here. So I'm gonna help you before you go back and you'll be all fixed. But 1 in 4 people, 1 in 4. So you have to recognize that it is absolutely 100% guaranteed you're gonna have some conflict. And if we aren't able to manage our emotions and work through sort of the mental work that has to take place, we're not gonna move from this position. So it is all about perspective, but it's more than that. It's about how you're able to work through the battle. Because really, if you think about what conflict is and what it is not, it's a struggle between opposing forces. That means I have a thought and you have a thought. And somewhere along the lines in growing up, we drew lines in the sand and one of us has to be right to the death, right? When I was growing up, when there was conflict, you fought. I mean, did anybody fight every summer like I did? Right? I got in fights every single summer until about 4th grade when everybody started getting taller than me. That was it. That was it. No more fighting for me. And what was really interesting is I switched how I approached conflict. And I grew up in a house full of boys, which meant it was all boys all the time. And they were mean. So that meant I had to be really tough and I had to figure out how I was gonna fight them. So I couldn't fist fight. What did I do? My mouth. I use my words, as we tell our kids now. But what if using your words doesn't work? What if I don't have the words to use? But that was my conflict. My approach to conflict was using my words because I couldn't physically fight. So I was able to, as my father would say, she could take down a tall tree with that mouth of hers. But I could really break you down, and I still have to watch that. I've been married 25 years, thankfully. He's been able to survive. But it's the opposing force. So when I feel like something's coming against me, I tense up, and then I start thinking, what am I getting ready to say? Because I'm getting ready to take this joker out right here, right? Just with my words. And then I brought that into the workforce. I brought that in. And I can't tell you how many verbal fights that I would get in with people. And mostly I would win, and people would leave out and they'd be in tears, and I'd be like, shh, one down. Bring it. I had attitude and everything. And it was a very strong executive director, female, and she said, Pam, you can't do this. You have to stop. At some point, your career is going to come to a screeching halt. Not because you're not right, it's because how you're going about dealing with people who think differently from you, right? And so I had to rethink my approach, and honestly, it wasn't overnight. It took me a couple of years to figure out with coaching and other kinds of support and mentoring. I had to find a model who was managing conflict in a way that they were having success, but they weren't taking people out, leaving what we call the string of dead bodies in the wake. That's not effective. It feels good in the moment, but it's not effective long term.